Focus, would you? Dang it. Why are you not focusing? There we go. There we go. All right. Hope you're doing good today. I wanted to do just a little video and show you some of my super scientific, technical methods for video editing. Color correction. This is a project I'm working on currently for the fire district here. All right. So color correction. Let's start with, what did I move? There we are. Let's start with the basics. Let's go up here for basic correction. Here you have your sliders, your white balance, tint, saturation, all of that good stuff. This is a flat raw profile shot in log. I think it's S-Log 3, and this is shot with my FX3. So you see the profile's flat and lifeless, right? Like the person on this stretcher here. All right, so over here, if I'm doing basic stuff like this, it's not very stylistic. It's not like music videos or something where you're gonna have a, cool look to it, film look, or a lot of cinematic color or what. No, this is just a standard shot, right? So I usually come over here where the LUTs are kept, and I'll usually end up falling on one of these three. I just want to have a good starting point. If you go down here, it starts looking weird, taking the color and changing it around. But sometimes this first one here, the Alexa default, is a little too blown out or vibrant, and I usually land here, whatever this one is, and I just kind of look at this and decide what I want to do to it. So I'll come over here to my scopes and see where I'm looking on the exposure, see if it's too high, and I look down here in this area for the blacks to see if the floor here is too high or too low. And it looks like it's a little bit too high, so I want to drop that down. See where I'm looking, see if there's any detail left here. So I'll go and play around with my highlights, see what's missing, see if there's anything hiding. You see there's a little bit of color there. We could probably bring some of that back. We'll see if we can. But okay, let's stop right there. And one of the things I like to do is play around with the color. So I'll go jump down here in the curves and hue versus saturation. I like this color, so I'm going to isolate it by using my little dropper. And you see here how it's isolated. And then let's see how far we can push this bad boy. I mean, look at that. So, I mean, I think it's just your own preference, right? Obviously, if you're looking up here, you see it's going to shoot way out of the bounds of what's considered broadcast safe, right? If you pull it back down, it's going to creep back in, like something about like that. We're right on the border, and then if you go the opposite way, you see how it's retracting. Okay. Now for obviously for meeting specs purposes for broadcast and whatnot, you got these rules to follow. But when you're just posting for social media, and it's going to live there mainly on social media, I don't really worry too much about that. I'm not trying to make it broadcast ready. If I were, I would go back and redo this project and have a whole new edit for it. But for my purposes, I like to find the color, see if I can make the color pop, and then play the scene and see what it looks like here with those adjustments that I've made. So there you go, something like that. Once again, I'm self-taught. I watch a lot of videos, like I'm sure most people like me have done. I see what works for people, and this is not the correct way or the incorrect way. It's just it's my way. Okay, so check it out. Here we go. Here we got the clip of the ambulance, and in no certain order, I know that I'm going to play around with contrast. I know I'm going to check the overall exposure, see what's missing. If you see there's highlights that start appearing when you drop, you see the clouds back there, and so those highlights are hiding in there somewhere, but it's kind of like a little dance you got to do back and forth between exposure and retaining those highlights. Bringing the highlights down will bring back some of those details you see in the clouds there starting to come back. I mean, how important are those highlights? I mean, that's up to you to decide. My blacks I want to bring down. They're a little too high here. I usually try to put them in the area of like maybe 7 or somewhere around that neighborhood. And once again, this is a flat profile, so I'll go up here and check which one of these looks like close to what I'm shooting for. And this one, with the exception of my exposure. So I want to come back, and you see how when I chose that particular LUT, the exposure jumped up. So I'm going to back that off again. And from here, I want to play with my color dropper here a little bit. Hue versus saturation. Go up here and hit the red. And let's push that red a little bit. I like the fact that this is just this, this is the featured, subject, right? The ambulance. And of course the red popping off the screen there. And yes, it's going to go out of bounds up here. If you're watching your color scope up here, it's going to go out of the bounds, and that's okay. For my purposes, I want it to go. I want it to be noticed. Okay. All right. For the curves, come in here and play with this. I used to steer clear of all this stuff, and because I really didn't fully understand it. But all you really got to do is just watch what happens when you start playing around. I'll put a marker here, here, and here. This, of course, is the lower side of your spectrum, your histogram, your scope. This is where the shadows and the darks and the mids and the highs live. So watch what happens when you go up or down with your curves here. You see how the detail changes, but you're also killing these bright areas here. Watch how they come down when you pull this down. So if that's distracting you, this glow that's happening here, all in this area and here, then this is where that glow is living. And over here, if you want to drop these, play around with this, and of course, you're gonna have to go back and forth, watching where your floor touches. Right now, it's down there further than I normally like it. That means you're losing detail in the blacks, okay, in the black areas. So it's just a little song and dance that I do back and forth. No rhyme or reason. I'll watch the footage, and I'll see what's happening when I move things around and decide what I think looks good. Obviously, I don't want something crazy like that. And then if you get stuck, just kind of double click, start all over again. And this is stuff that's not super important to the overall story. This is a clip. It is what it is. It's an ambulance. Probably only going to be in the scene about a second and a half for my project, but it's however much time you want to spend on this stuff. But I'm doing these videos for myself, for my channel, to try and connect with more people. I'm not great at it, but that's okay. This is how you learn, right? And if you see something you like, or you want to comment, or just connect, feel free to reach out. And maybe I'll put some links in here of some of the gear I'm using and some of the things that I'm working on. And you do the same. I hope to connect with you. I love collaborating. So happy shooting and have a good day. Thank you.